Hello, everybody. Welcome to Getting into the Field by LFS Young Alumni Council. We are super happy to see everyone gathered here today. And just a quick note in the beginning, the session will be recorded and made available online. And we do encourage you all to keep your cameras on, but we understand that not everyone is comfortable with cameras. So please do what feels right for you and engage with tonight's session in your own ways. We would also like to invite you to add your pronouns to your name if you're comfortable with it. If you haven't heard of us yet, we are a team of LFS alumni that dedicates our efforts to empower the LFS Young Alumni community through building lifelong relationships between alumni, students, community members, and industry partners. We help both current LFS students and alumni to connect with each other and learn together by developing original programs, collaborating with industry partners, and creating engagement opportunities. So before we move on, we'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that UBC is situated on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam people for its Vancouver campus, and the Silex Okanagan Nation for its Okanagan campus. We encourage you to think about the land you are currently residing on and how you are acknowledging and respecting your land. In this session, we will be introducing you to two different career fields. Our wonderful speakers tonight are Katie Koralesky, who holds an MSc and PhD in applied animal biology, and Liam Polsky, who also earned his undergraduate and master's degree in applied animal biology. Katie is currently a postdoctoral researcher in the animal welfare program, focusing on the human aspects of the animal welfare, and Liam is currently the vice president of sales at Elevated Signals. You will hear about their insights on getting into or experiences working in their current fields. Each presentation is designed to be about 10 minutes long, might be a little bit shorter, might be a little bit longer. We ask you to please hold on to your questions until the end of both presentations, as we will be opening up 2 breakout rooms for you to directly connect with the speakers and ask any questions that you may have. So without further ado, I will let Katie take over.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Just give me one moment here and I'll share my screen.
Awesome.
Okay. Anne, how's that looking?
That looks great.
Wonderful.
If you want, you can also present it to make it full screen.
Oh, okay. How is that?
Beautiful, perfect.
Okay,
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Yeah, no, thank you as well. Well, hi, everyone. My name is, as Anne said, my name is Katie Koralesky. And before I get started, I just wanted to thank Anne and Manveen and everyone who is a part of the LFS Young Alumni Council for putting these events together and having this wonderful community, and then also for inviting me to speak here tonight, which I'm really happy and pleased to do. So just to kind of follow up from Anne's introduction, I am currently a postdoc here still at UBC in the animal welfare program. And then I actually did my graduate work here as well. So I got my MSc in 2017 and then my PhD in 2021. So I've been really lucky to have the opportunity to study and be part of this community for the past almost 9 years. Before that, I actually am originally from the States, from Wisconsin, and there I got a BA back in 2008, and that was in Spanish and environmental studies. So when I was thinking about, the ideas about getting into the field, for me, there's a few kind of common threads that I've had throughout my life and different, through different kind of careers and jobs that I've had that kind of led me to this field. So I wanted to just share a little bit of that background with you. So first off, this is, I'll just move, hopefully you can see those photos okay. So throughout my, life, before I got to graduate school, I kind of took some time to reflect on, well, why is it that I want to go to graduate school and go into academia? And I kind of realized that I've had a lifelong curiosity about not only animals, but specifically human-animal relationships. So after I got my undergraduate degree, I actually worked on a few different farms. I was an intern on farms. I was really interested in sustainable agriculture. But on those farms, some of them actually had chickens and turkeys. So I got an opportunity to start learning about animal welfare and how to take care of animals on farms. I worked on farms for a few years, and then I was also really interested in understanding different types of human-animal relationships in different countries and different cultures. So this led me to join the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps is an agency of the US government that promotes sustainable development in different countries. And so where I went from 2009 to 2012 was Togo, which is a country in West Africa. And the photos I'm showing here are two of the projects that I had an opportunity to work on there with uh, local collaborators and community members. So one was raising rabbits, starting a rabbit raising project. This was our first house that we made for our rabbits, which we were really, really proud of. We started very small with just a male and a couple females, but we were so excited the first day that we actually had the young kits there, these bunnies that were born. And so this was a really fun project to work on to, I guess, connect with people about animals and caring for animals and thinking about how to raise animals and think about their welfare. But then it was also, of course, an income generating activity for people there. And so this was a really important project that, continued my interest in how people are working with animals in different countries. The picture on the bottom there, this was actually a project I got to work on with a few different volunteers. And we designed a kind of like a modeled after like a summer sleepaway style camp for young people in Togo to go and be together for a week and learn all about environmental projects and how to do environmental projects and projects around sustainability in their communities. And so this was called Camp Eco Action. And so there we did a lot of hands-on activities like how to make a tree nursery, how to make, compost, different things like that students could then take back to their communities and implement through their work there. So that was my time in the Peace Corps. When I came back, I actually started working at a food bank, but I also had opportunities to do volunteering. This was, I was able to continue my volunteer work, actually with companion animals in this case. So I worked in different humane societies and animal shelters with cats and dogs. And in those opportunities too, I was able to see how people relate to animals that in North America we keep in our homes, like dogs and cats. And so this was another opportunity for me to learn more about and become interested and grow my curiosity about human-animal relationships. And then that eventually got me back to UBC. So my background, as I mentioned, really informed then what I was interested in pursuing in my research. So this photo on the top here, that was me out at our dairy farm. Liam is also very familiar with that farm. I'm sure he'll tell you about it. But I got really interested in working with dairy cattle welfare assurance programs. So these are different types of programs that are in place that are in place to assure the welfare of animals and how they're kept on farms. They operate at government, industry, and corporate levels, non-governmental levels as well. And they have, positives and negatives, each of these different kinds of programs. So I was really interested in what do these programs that people create actually mean for the welfare of animals on farms? So I was able to investigate that in a few different cases in my early graduate work. I then shifted back to companion animals. And in this case, this was my doctoral work where I was able to partner with the BCSPCA and really do some in-depth social science research where I was able to interview and do observations of frontline animal shelter staff and also animal protection officers as they were doing work with the animals in the shelter that arrived there for various reasons, and then also animals in the community. And looking at how the types of laws that are available, how they are enforced at municipal, provincial, and federal levels. But then also this idea of one welfare, which is an emerging topic in many fields, not only with companion animals, also with farm animals. in other sectors. But the idea here was to think about, well, how does the welfare of animals, humans, and also the environment in which they live really connect? And how can we do research that explores and elaborates on those different connections? And then today, kind of building on all of this, more social science and qualitative research, I'm now doing work that's investigating emerging technologies in animal agriculture, in particular gene editing. And what's really interesting with this work is these technologies are still in development, so it gives us an opportunity to talk with people who are developing technologies, or farmers who might use the technologies, or members of the public who might have an opinion about these technologies. So we can kind of do these future thinking research projects where we get people to express their opinions about what do you envision for a society where we have technology use in animal agriculture. Part of what I do right now as well is I'm involved with teaching and mentorship. So one of the courses I'm co-teaching right now is at by 315, Animal Welfare and the Ethics of Animal Use. As well, I've had opportunities to do research about teaching and learning. This is a publication that I was able to work on with Kristen Walker, who is a faculty member in Land and Food Systems. And this was, actually, I was thinking just today, it's about exactly 4 years ago when we had to do that rapid shift of teaching from in-person to online due to COVID-19. And so what we did was we wanted to know, well, how has engagement changed? Now we're on Zoom all the time as we are tonight, but at that time it was quite a new approach to teaching. And so we wanted to understand student and instructor perceptions of engagement. So this really gave me an opportunity to get more into pedagogical research and think about what does it mean to engage? How does that connect to student learning? And then finally, I have an opportunity to do a lot of mentorship as well. One of the activities that I participate in, and actually that we were able to start with colleagues many years ago in the animal welfare program, is a qualitative research community of practice. I'm really proud of this group. We meet monthly, but it's a space where people, let's say, maybe they don't necessarily have a background in qualitative research, but they've become really interested in the human dimensions of animal welfare. How do those human factors influence animal welfare, and they want to do research on it. So we have this space where we can meet, ask questions, share research ideas, get feedback on, interview guides and surveys. Like I mentioned, it started at UBC, but then researchers at the University of Calgary have become involved, and it's expanded to the UK. So it's a really wonderful group, and it's definitely a community of practice where people are learning from each other, but it also sets up an encouraging space where we can learn about the research that people are doing to understand human-animal relationships. So to summarize, getting into the field, for me, this required some reflection about what have been the common threads of interest in my life. And one of them is definitely human-animal relationships, and relationships can be broad, thinking about how an individual person cares for their pet, how farmers care for animals, as well as how policy makers are thinking about the types of regulations and laws that we have in place that dictate how those animals are cared and managed for. So I have a broad interest in that. That's kind of been a common thread throughout my life. And then also collaboration, teaching, and mentorship. I've had a lot of opportunities to do that throughout, and then in my research as well. As I mentioned, connecting with scientists from different universities who are using diverse social science research methods and natural science methods as well to advance and contribute to our knowledge about animal welfare science. So that's kind of where I was and how I got here to today being a social scientist who studies the human factors that influence animal welfare. And I should mention this photo here is this was back in October of 2023. Professor David Fraser, now Professor Emeritus, gave a public talk about 50 years of animal welfare. So I guess to close this, the animal welfare program at UBC is a wonderful group of people that really facilitates the kind of research that I'm interested in, as well as has a heavy emphasis and strong emphasis on collaboration, teaching, and mentoring. And so this is a photo of many alumni that were there on that night in Vancouver, missing, of course, many others who weren't able to be there. But I feel very lucky to be part of this community.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Katie. That's a great presentation and super interesting. Like I have a lot of questions, but keeping in mind of the agenda for tonight, let's pass the virtual mic to Liam. So Liam, I'll let you take over.
Sure, thank you. Let me just get my screen set up here. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes. Wonderful. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Yeah, that was a wonderful presentation, Katie. Great to learn even more about your background. And yeah, again, a big thanks to Manveen and Hannah and Nikki for organizing these LFS speaker series. They're fantastic networking opportunities for students to learn a little bit more, and it's just a great initiative. So really applaud your guys' effort in making it happen, and more importantly for the students for taking time out of your busy Monday to make it happen. So great to meet everyone. Yeah, so I'm Liam. I'm the VP of Sales at Elevated Signals. Here's my contact information. I'll share it back at the end of the presentation, but for everyone on here, it's my email and phone number, so don't hesitate to reach out. So a little bit about me. I'm originally from Calgary. I moved out to Vancouver to go to UBC to do my undergrad in the Applied Animal Biology program. At the time in undergrad, it was really to go snowboarding at Whistler, but quickly fell in love with the beautiful campus and some of the great professors and students in the Land and Food Systems faculty. So originally, when I applied to the Applied Animal Biology program, I really wanted to go to vet school. That had been the lifelong dream, as I'm sure a lot of students can kind of relate to in the applied animal faculty. Obviously, working in sales right now, you can kind of see how that pathway diverged a little bit. But over the course of my undergrad and especially my master's, I got exposed to a lot of cool like industry opportunities that really sparked in my interest in like private industry and things that have continued to be beneficial to my career right now. Most notably, it was really looking at the intersection of animal science and technology. Similar to Katie, I spent a lot of time out at the university research farm in Agassiz. Driving on the highway, I don't think passing that exit every time, it just brings back such fond memories. So for those who have not had the opportunity to go out, I would highly recommend to visit out there either with one of the grad student groups or which I'll share a little bit in my recommendations of just reaching out to someone to book a visit, because it's a fantastic place where a lot of innovation, cool research happens, but a very great community of people that really want to build out the future of science at the university, but then also just like industry collaboration. So when I was out there, what was really interesting to me was, like I said, using technology to understand how farmers can make better decisions. Use technology to grow their bottom line, improve their animal health, their reproductive health, the financial health of their organization, and what are tools that we as researchers could validate for them or just improve the accuracy that they could become more like efficient in the field itself. So while I was there, the veterinarian dream was slowly shifting off, and it was, moving more towards an industry application. And at the time, my master's supervisor, Dr. Ronaldo Seri, really encouraged me to like look into private industry. And I was also supported by great professors like Dan and Nina in the animal welfare department to, explore these different avenues of what it could look like to take the critical knowledge and the thinking that you learn in your degree and apply it to more private fields in there. So what I was doing, at this point of, approaching graduation was a lot of networking and a lot of reaching out to different companies. So I spent a lot of time, looking at companies that I found interesting that I was working in with my master's. Specifically, my master's was looking at estrus detection. So using like pedometers, like, Fitbits, putting them on cows to monitor their activity. And what a great place to start by, understanding the products that I was using in my studies and reaching out to them. And this was a lot of, just outbound efforts to people on LinkedIn, cold calling companies, reaching out to various contacts there just to have informational conversations. What does your organizational do? What are you looking to do? Because a lot of the time what I felt was, I didn't understand enough about, that industry world to know what, value that I could contribute. But I did know at the time that I was really interested in like the technology and the automation behind it. So all of this Googling and, networking led me to BioEnterprise. BioEnterprise is a nonprofit business accelerator. And what that means was that startup companies come to this organization to grow themselves as a business. So whether you're looking for funding or you're doing like a market assessment where you have a piece of technology and you want to know what like the market application is for it, if you're looking for like quality or compliance information, my job was to do analyst work in the animal health division. So this was fantastic because at the time, I was still really interested in animal health and using technologies. And I was working with a lot of different innovative companies who were improving the space like that. An awesome company, one that comes to mind is Soma Detect. They use hyperspectral microscopy to measure mastitis in dairy cows. And wow, like how great would that be to see things at the UBC farm where it's like, private technology that can be used to improve health outcomes at different farms all across the country. So it was really great exposure to kind of see what that world would look like in there. At the same time, what this really started to build out was like an understanding of the way that private industries really work. So, what does it take to grow a successful company, to become a viable and independent technology that you can bring a solution to market and iterate on those products to really grow the bottom line. At the time when I was working there, this company, Elevated Signals, came into pitch. And Elevated Signals is the founders are also alumni of UBC. They've also graduated from a few of the mentorship and the accelerator programs that UBC offers. So it's great to kind of reconnect with people in the ecosystem in there. And they came to pitch us for some business services. And when they came in, I was just like, wow, like these guys have an innovative idea. This is really interesting. And after the presentation, I was like, let me know when your business starts to incorporate and really gain some legs. I would love to kind of continue this conversation as the business sort of grows. So right now at Elevated Signals, where I work in the sales and account management department. What is Elevated Signals? We do manufacturing technology for emerging industries. So traditionally, where we started was actually in cannabis. Cannabis being legalized in 2018 didn't have manufacturing software to sustainably grow their operations. So what that would mean is, let's say you want to make a product of pre-rolls, for example, our software would help you manage the inventory required to do that. Since then, the product has grown and we work with a lot of mineral refinement companies, clean tech companies, a lot of companies in the climate space, as well as the vertical farming industry. The really cool thing about Elevated Signals and really working for a startup in general is that every day is different and every day is going to be a surprise. There's a lot of cool things that you learn about building a business and then also understanding and helping the market that you serve grow. So things can be like understanding, it's a software company. Sorry, I should have said that. It's a software company. So understanding, what are some of the features that customers want to have that will make their lives easier? What are the best ways to market them? How do people speak about your product in the market? How do you work collaboratively with different team members to grow your business really quickly? How do you grow to get external funding from venture capital or private equity or seed grants? So there's a lot of multiple hats that you wear at any given time. And it really provides a continuous learning opportunity, not just for, in my role, learning about sales and account management, but really business growth and business acumen and how to bring these kind of products to market. So something that I've really found interesting in, getting into this role is really focuses on continual learning. I think there's a lot of really cool technologies that are available right now to help students or people getting into the field that weren't available in mass like when I was entering into sales. So a classic example, and not to sound like the broken record, but is in looking at things like AI and like Chat GPT, for example. A lot of the times when I was having informational interviews with people I was networking, it was really learning about the roles and responsibilities from their perspective of what you can do. And now there's, tools and all these LLMs that you can use like in ChatGPT to understand like a day in the life of what people are doing, and how you can add value, what typical career paths would look like, and how you can even enter them. So, the tools and resources that are available right now are go far beyond, and are completely evolving every day. So there's great resources that you can use to really expedite like the knowledge that you can acquire to get into the private world. The second thing too, I think that is really important is just the drive and time required to do some networking. Reaching out to people to understand, and this could be at people, at companies that you want to work with, or people who have had similar roles or past experiences, then just to understand, what they had done in their careers to get to this certain point and where the career trajectory is going right now. One thing I found when I was in LFS was, wanting to reach out, but always feeling like a little guilty, like, oh, I don't have that much to contribute in terms of like the value or whatever, I'm just going to be asking a lot of questions and that kind of thing. Don't let that hold you back, because, reaching out to a lot of people, there's great people in the community, like Katie was saying, in LFS, in the tech world, in the animal health world, who are more than willing to have a conversation, because everyone was in that spot at one time in their career. And it's a great opportunity to either kind of pay it forward or share some information, especially stuff that I would have loved to know when I was in my undergrad and master's in there as well. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out. Always down to chat and grab a coffee or set up a phone call, whatever works for you guys. But yeah, really appreciate you taking the time to listen here.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Liam. Wonderful insights. And again, lots of questions from my end, but it's gonna hold up. Thank you so much for sharing them. And I really hope that everyone also has gained some really valuable knowledge from both Katie and Liam. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback, or if you're just looking to connect and network, I'm happy to announce that we are now in our Q&A session. So let me just quickly share screen. Beautiful. Perfect. So now you should be able to see a button on Zoom that says breakout rooms. And if you click that button, you can see that Katie will be in one room and then Liam will be in another. So please drop into whichever breakout room that draws you in. You can also feel free to hop between rooms. I'll be staying here at the main room should you have any questions. But I highly encourage you to pick a room and just join the conversation. And if there's any issues, feel free to just call me in, either by chat, or there should be a button that says let you call in like the host. And the rooms will be open until 7:55 p.m. That's all from me. Please feel free to drop into the breakout rooms now and let me know if you're having trouble finding the rooms. I can try to assign you instead to work around that issue. Wonderful. Awesome. All right, so welcome back. So I hope that everyone has enjoyed this session and, like me, gained lots of wonderful insights. And before we say our final remarks, let's find out who will win the prize draw. Just virtual drum roll right now. So congratulations to Kimberly and Amy. We will be contacting you via the email you use for your RSVP form. So congrats. If you'd like to connect with us to hear about our future events, please follow us on LinkedIn. Our QR code is up there. You can also search us up by you can Google by searching us up on LFS Alumni, either the UBC website or directly on LinkedIn. And I suppose you can also Google us, and just make sure you follow us on LinkedIn. You can keep up with all of our activities. And if you have any questions or feedback, feel free to directly email us at lfs.youngalumni@ubc.ca. We are always happy to hear from you. And before all of you leave, I would like to make Nikki take over just for a brief moment to take a group photo and share any final thoughts.
Well, final thoughts. Wow, the presentations were exceptional. Not that I didn't think it would be, of course. But there were, I just want to say super thank you for Liam and Katie for joining. I hope that those online had some great questions to ask and got some good feedback. It's great to spend these times being able to chat, whether it's online or in person. What is great about the Young Alumni Council is that they're organizing events that are both in person and online. We also have a great global community. So one of the reasons why we kind of stuck it out and are still doing Zoom webinars is that it's kind of opened up a bigger network of people, and that's pretty exciting. So on that note, and after that, thanks, I'm going to take a group picture. A small but mighty group. So I don't know whether Anna looks better if we're all kind of not on our maybe we could unmute if possible, those that want to unmute. I'm just wondering about all the little red dots at the bottom. It kind of looks, does it look better with people? For those that are comfortable putting that on. If not, I'm going to take a couple. And what I do is I usually kind of move myself out or put another thing, because you can just see me kind of taking the screenshot. Okay. So everyone, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. One more. Okay, I'm going to post that, everybody, just on our LinkedIn page. For those of you who don't follow, do follow. We've got something like almost 500 followers now. We've only been going since, what is it? Recent, I think. Was it last kind of May we did our launch? So so just watch this space and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will, Lan, do you want to have the last word?
Sure. Thank you so much, Nikki, and thank you so much to everyone and our speakers for joining our event, Getting into the Field. And we hope that you will be able to carry the new knowledge gained from this session into your future. And we hope that you all have a great rest of your evening, and we will see you in our next event.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks so much, everybody.